So the clock is ticking, and I realize there's so much seconds, minutes, hours in a day. I'm going to make the best of what I have with what's in front of me.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you are now about to witness
the journey that is the Lyfe Choyces podcast.
Yeah!
Orlin,
Talk to me, man.
how you doing?
Oh, man. I'm back.
Yeah,
Ha!
I'm excited.
Yo, that's that. When you're invited back, that means you didn't suck the first time.
Are you kidding me? I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation the
good.
first
It
time.
was
And you know
good.
what's funny?
Talk
My
to me.
mom loved our conversation.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Mom.
Mom, hi. So yeah, she's funny because obviously, you know, when she has time, she's 75, she has time.
Right.
She watches all the episodes, right? I think it's adorable. And the fact that she she's happy. She's proud of her son. So she takes the time to look at everything. But all the episodes, you know, that she watches, I love my mom so much because she literally tells me, nah, that episode was, nah. But then when she really likes one, she's like, oh, I really like that guy. Or like that girl was talking about stuff and like, oh, I really, and she gets to learn more about me at the same time,
100%.
which is so funny. And I have that kind of like slightly in the back of my brain while I'm doing all these podcasts is, I'm an open book. I just talk, right? And then I think on the different levels of why people watch podcasts. And when you welcome them into
Your world.
it's important that you are who you are and you share with them so they can get to know the individual. And that's why the people that sit in that chair over there always seem to just kind of jump into it as well. And they just start sharing stories.
We belong.
Yeah.
It's natural. You know what I mean? It's like talking to yourself, really.
Which I do often.
Yeah. Yeah. No, man, I love it. I'm glad to be back again, man. It's awesome.
So what's going on in your life?
Kind of taking it day by day, second by second, minute by minute.
Yeah.
You know me.
Chilling.
Don't look too far in the future, my friend. I try to stay present, you know, what's happening right in front of me. That's what's important. Making sure I don't miss the people, places, or things that are just right here. It's nice to plan. Don't get me wrong. You know, I told my daughter she wants to go to college. She better pay for it because she's not using my money. I'm going to use it now. I'm going to have fun.
How old is she?
She's 13.
Oh, good. She knows long in advance. Start making money for herself.
Listen, she has no excuses. She can't say when she gets in 12th grade, I didn't know. I'm going to say, no, you knew when you were 2.
That's so funny because my dad had 3 boys. This is my 2 older brothers and I. And in Canada, hospitality industry is 14 is the legal working age.
Right.
And my father owned a law firm. On all of our 14th birthdays, he came home with our social insurance number application. You guys have the social security number that allows you to work. And he brought that home, like in and around the 14th birthday, and said, like, we knew what he was getting at. Like, the money that is here is my money. I've worked for it. Your mother works. That's her money. Collectively, we give that money to you guys where you need it. But if you want to do things, if you want clothes, if you want food, if you want to go have fun with your friends, you got to fucking work.
That's it.
And that was it. There was no like trying to fight that. I mean, and it was great because he set you up with your first job. You just told him what industry you wanted to be in. And then he went through his client roster.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I worked for a fast food company called Harvey's in Canada, which was like the high-end fast food burger joint. And one of his clients owned like 3 or 4 locations. And the funny thing is like going to the interview, I knew I had the job.
Right.
But I knew that once the manager said you're hired, I was now working under my father's name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now you have that responsibility of, yes, sure, your dad got you the job, but you are now him. Like you fuck up. That's him that looks bad. The funnier part about you and I is the fact that we didn't know each other before, let's say 6 months ago, 7 months ago. We got introduced from a friend of ours, Cosmo. Shout out.
Cause.
And there's been a lot of interesting, funny situations with you and I, just like the way we got along right away, the first meeting, the conversation that we had on the phone versus the podcast. And then even today, there was a situation we'll talk about in a second, how like the universe is just very strange with us. And you saying that, you know, not mentioning any names, Celine Dion, that you work for. I worked for a family for 9 years on their yacht, and they took us all to their lake house.
Okay.
A gentleman bought a lake house up in the Adirondacks, and basically all the property around it is his. And he had bought this particular lake house from Celine Dion.
No way.
Yeah, it used to be her place. She outfitted it. The inside of it was all like made out to be like a studio and stuff like that for music. They bought it, obviously, you know, remodeled. Again, just a very weird coincidence.
You know, I would say if you were a woman, I'd be like, you're my soulmate.
Right?
But
there's nothing. Like, but there's nothing wrong with having a male soulmate.
No, but I want a woman soulmate.
Right. No, I hear you. We have you and me both. But the fact that, like, you know, we're kindred spirits, I think we can both admit that, right?
It's too close for comfort, man. Yeah. It's like the way that we have been connected. It's just awesome. It really is. It means a lot too. You know, when you first told me about the vision of Lyfe Choyces, it fits so perfectly when you think about it, right? So even when we're out and about, it's a choice. It's a life choice. It's like, it's a perfect fit, perfect name, man. And I tell you, man, Lyfe Choyces, it's definitely something where if you have not been on Lyfe Choyces, man, you got to sit in this chair, because not only do you find yourself having a conversation with this gentleman here, but you do a lot of thinking, even after. You know, when I left the show last time, it was just like, and I watched it because you texted me. You texted me and you're probably like, this jerk. Like, he didn't even respond back. But I kept watching it over and over. And I was just kind of like, man, it was a good time. It was a good time and a building block for, I believe, a friendship that will last forever.
Absolutely. And for me, like, I was asked this the other day on another episode about like the love I had for cooking.
Right.
And I admitted that I had lost it for a while. Like, I was very run down in the industry that I was in. And I now have another cooking job with a family and their yacht. And it's invigorated me. It's brought me back to the love for cooking. But it was actually doing this that has brought me back into the love of life, because doing this venture has shown me what hard work and hearing no is all about.
Right.
But not letting it affect you and persevering through it and really dedicating everything about you, your mind, body, and soul into something that really gives you happiness. Like, the love I have for this is because I sit down with really amazing people and have really good conversations that are, you know, about an hour, you know, for the podcast. But the best part about it is it transforms the rest of my life into realizing how much hard work I need to put back into everything if I want to receive that kind of happiness in return from doing what I do.
Yeah, 100%.
And the biggest thrill for me is 99% of the time, the conversation continues on after we hit stop on record, like we did last time.
Exactly.
Like I've done with most of my guests. And I love the fact that you say when you left, the thoughts were still going. They were still in the head. You were still thinking, you know, provocatively wondering what just happened.
It's like Lyfe Choyces. Here I am. Come and get me if you want me. You know what I mean? It's like you're constantly driving and striving to make this what it is. And I applaud you for that.
Thank you so very much. And what this is actually creating itself into becoming what it should be.
Right.
Which is what I love. The direction in which the guests and the conversations are now going are so much better than season 1. The craziest thing the other day, I'm in Celis,
yeah.
So I'm in there the other day. I go there every now and again for smoothies. And I'm just leaning up against the cooler. You're just waiting for my stuff to be ready. And like 4 guys walk in. They either just came from CrossFit or they just did like a marathon or something. They looked in that mode. And one of them had like, this one guy had like a lot of tattoos. And I was looking at his tattoos and I was thinking like, you know, my boy Pete, he's the #1 most returned guest that I've had so far. He's been on 4 episodes.
Got it.
And I was just thinking like I do, I'm just like, yo, I should probably talk to this guy and just tell him like, listen, I know this tattoo artist that's like legit, like he's really good. I didn't. Like I was about to leave and I didn't. I had my smoothie and I'm about to walk out. And that exact person looked at my shirt and was like, oh my God, Lyfe Choyces. And in a second in my head, I'm like, is this really happening right now? Like,
wow.
Yeah. But what he said was, my boy Pete has told me I need to connect with you. So in my head, I'm thinking about promoting Pete to this gentleman that I don't even know, don't even recognize.
Promoting you.
And Pete's promoting me. And so we exchange numbers. And then this cat who's been on Pete's podcast twice is eventually going to come on my podcast. And again, I wear all of my shit constantly as a billboard.
Right.
And if I hadn't that day, that interaction wouldn't have happened. But the fact that like my willingness to do for others was actually being returned without me knowing it because someone else is doing for me.
That's how it goes, man.
I love it.
What you sow is what you shall
reap. I love it. So how's everything at home?
Good, man. We you know, I got this 14-year-old, man, Bella Bonds, we call her. Shout out to you, Bella. She's an amazing hitter in the softball world. So we're just trying to get her up to speed and make sure she's continuously, number one, having fun. But you know, as a dad out there, it's like, you know, it's like, let's go. We want to win. So yeah, I put a lot of time into that and just kind of, again, enjoying life.
I don't actually know the feeling that you just experienced or that you just shared with us about being a dad and having your kid at softball, because I don't have kids yet, but I'm at that point in my life. I'm at my journey, pivotal moment where I have really opened up my mind to the possibility of becoming a father.
Mom, you're going to be a grandma.
I mean, not anytime soon, you know, because everything has to go great first in so many different ways. I've not opened up the first page of that book of parenthood or marriage or long-term relationship. And I'm so eager to find out what that's like, because everyone that sits there, most of the men who have kids, all express it in the exact same way. Yeah. The pure joy that they get, the fact that they've never loved something as much as they do that child, and the excitement they get with something as simple as my kid's doing good at softball.
Yeah. And you know, the beauty is, what I find is like it's like this, remember clay, like Play-Doh? Remember Play-Doh? We used to make Play-Doh like, oh, we want to make it a car. We make it a house. But like it's life. It's a life that initially you can make it whatever you really want it to be. Even though, you know, children, you know, they become their own person, but like it's crazy. My daughter, she, like, you know, when she was younger, like I'd brush my teeth, right? Like, and she wanted to brush her teeth. Like, you know, she sees you doing something, she does it. You say something, she says it. So initially you can really mold this child to kind of, you know, and I love that. I love that about being a dad, you know, is that connection. But again, as they get older, you know, it does start to shake a little bit, changes a little bit, you know, because now they're less needy of you. And now they're exploring the world. So it's kind of like, you know, you're like the kid that's sitting on the bench that didn't get picked, you know? So you're like, she's with her friends and I'm like, pick me, like I'm really good at this, like, and I didn't get picked. It was just like.
But you're a very present father.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And hoping that when she goes through the depths of teenage years, that even though she's out running around with her friends, she will still confide in you and come 100%. To you.
That's what you have to impart early. You got to put that in early. Like if you don't put that in early, you won't get that out later.
I don't regret anything in my life, because if I didn't do all the things that I had done before, I would not be sitting here right now. And this moment right now, I love. I know that I took a lot away from my parents, because when I was in my teenage years, first off, I didn't have a fucking clue who I was.
Right.
I was dealing with a lot of shit at school. You know, it was just difficult for me. I didn't feel like I could express a lot of that stuff to my mom and dad. It was a different time back then.
Yeah.
But I know how much of a little shit I was when I was a teenager, from like 13, probably 14 to like 20 almost. I didn't want to have parents. Like I did everything I could to not be around them. And it hurts me now. I don't regret what I did, but I definitely have a level of pain inside my heart, because my father's no longer on this planet in a physical being. And I could have had so much more of an earlier bond with both of them if I had just not been a dick as a kid.
Yeah. Those are real feelings.
Yeah.
But you said something on our last episode that stuck with me, and I really appreciate it. I never told you this. You said, your relationship with your mom, you says, it doesn't matter what time of the day or night, if that phone rings and it's mom, I'm answering. That stuck with me because I don't answer every time my mom calls. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I'm busy. But I walked away saying to myself, when she calls, no matter what time of the day or night, no matter what I'm going through, I'm going to answer. So thank you for that.
Oh,
thank
my pleasure. Absolutely. And the funny thing is lately I've even been calling my mom more often,
right.
like really, really like 2-3 times a week, even though I know her life, my life, not really much has been different in those couple of days because it's just life. You wake up, you do your normal stuff, you get home, you eat, you go to sleep. But because of the way I was as a kid and because of the strong relationship I've had with both of my parents in the later years of their life, I realize how important it is right now, especially since what I do for a living keeps me away, you know, and the choices I've made in my life is I'd rather be in warm climate places, and the job I have allows me to do that. But just having the phone call with her, you know, is imperative.
Yeah.
You know, I've been around people that call their parents like every single day, and kind of was like, why are you doing that? But now that my dad's gone,
you get it now.
Absolutely. Because
you get it.
Him and I would talk. He became my confidant once I left home. Like once I left home, I understood all the shit he had taught me without knowing.
Then
he
Dad
taught me.
made sense. Dad knew what he was talking about.
Oh God, he Miyagi'd the fuck out of me when I, you know what I'm saying? Like in my 20s, when I was getting mad at my friends for shit, I was like, my dad fucking did that. Wow. But I still, like I've expressed before, I still talk to him,
right?
You know, and I still thank God that he's beside him, looking over me every step of the way. And I still share all the highs and lows with him because I take the time to still talk to what I consider his spirit, his being. But that's why I call my mom more often now, and I want to share more with my life with her, even though I'm not physically next to her.
Right.
Because I want her to know how important she is to me.
Good.
Like she fucking gave birth to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like 19 years, they like, I don't know how long you stayed at home, but they take care of, hopefully, they take care of you the best they know how for the better part of 18 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they have to, like, I'm not a parent. I can't imagine what you probably are already thinking about years from now when they leave the house.
Yeah, gone. Like, empty nest, they call it. But no, man, that's deep, man. The fact that you are conscious to that, you know, you're saying, I was this. Let me do whatever I can. And I feel like you're not doing it in a makeup mode. You're doing it because a conscious awareness of like how you said, like she gave birth to me. Like how many times a day or a year do we say that? Like my mom gave birth to me. Like
I fed off of everything that she was providing for me.
Like you don't think about that.
Nope.
I am now though. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a strange fucking thing. Like we literally incubate inside of our mom for 9 months, and everything that they eat, they drink, the walking, the talking, the things they listen to, the people they're around, it all penetrates in one way or another without us even knowing that it's happening to us as this little thing that when we come out, we're 9 months old. In my head, my first birthday, I'm not a year. I'm a year and 9 months.
Right.
Because I was, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a weird concept. That
so the molding goes way further back then.
Yeah. Well, think about it. There's so much proof that, like, you know, if a parent is, if a mother has alcoholism during birth, that child most likely is going to, you know, unfortunately have more challenges in life.
Correct.
My parents provided the best they knew how environment my entire life. I was just too selfish to be aware of the good things they were doing for me. But that's why now I'm more conscious about my life and the importance of giving back to them. Right. You know, if my father was still here, holy shit, like what a world of, like, and I was during the latter part of his life. You know what I'm saying? Like that man knew I loved him, and no day went by that I did not know my father loved me. And I'm so grateful and so thankful every day for that, you know, upbringing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you stay as you mentioned earlier, and I love it, like you're not too worried about yesterday. You're not stressing about tomorrow. You are an individual that just truly loves the moment, the day.
Yeah.
How do you as an individual stay present?
Eyes open. You know, it's one of those things where, how do you describe it? Staying present versus being present. You know what I mean? Like, stay present. For me, it's what's in front of me. What's in front of me? What am I looking at? What am I dealing with? If it's on the left, it may get overlooked because I straight ahead, you know. Yeah, I reminisce. I think about, you know, where I've come from, the things that I've done or the mistakes I've made, but I don't spend too much time there, you know, because as we talked about last time, that clock, it doesn't stop. It doesn't, like, you can't press pause to go back and reminisce or think about, you know, what you could have done better. Like, so the clock is ticking, and I realize there's so much seconds, minutes, hours in a day. I'm going to make the best of what I have with what's in front of me. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I have bad days? Yeah, there's some people that would probably be like, yeah, some really bad days. But even in those bad days, it's this too shall pass. So it's zoom, let's go. Where are we going? What are we doing? And again, I wasn't always like that. I just realized, man, that since I've been aware that this clock is this eternal clock, just doesn't stop until it stops. I just got to stay with what's in front of me, man. I can't get too involved in stuff that's not happening, things that are going to take time away from me, stress, all those other, no, you know, I focus now on life, health, more health than I ever did in my whole entire life. You know what I mean? Like health to me is super, super important. I was saying to a friend of mine the other day, I says, you know, if God were to say, I give you one wish, what would it be? I'd say eternal health. Give me eternal health, you know, 6-pack maybe, but eternal health, brother. Yeah.
It's so true. If you are healthy, and not just physically, but mentally, you're going to have more time, right? And what you're saying is absolute truth. I love you said something just a second ago, said, and this too shall pass. And it doesn't matter what it is, good or bad.
That's it.
It shall pass, because time does just that. It moves on. And we are given an unknown amount of time to play this game.
Which is scary.
Yeah, it's so weird how, like, you just don't know. Like,
right.
Like, some people might near the end because maybe they get cancer or something really horrible and serious like that. And then they start realizing, oh, I should have lived, where people like us right now, we're screaming it to everybody. Like, start living today. Like, don't wait till tomorrow. And being able to be present is difficult. It's not something that just happens. You have to be aware of it. And when you're having great days, they're going to pass, because inevitably the roller coaster goes.
I don't want it to end.
Right. But you're going to have the bad days. I try to absorb the bad ones and take them for what they are, and let go of them at the end of the night before I go to bed. When you realize that clock can stop at any given day, and you realize what you don't want to happen at the end, which is, I wish I had, oh, I could have, I should have. It really changes what's going on inside of your whole construct. And I think that's when you start doing more daily. For me, I've never been more aligned, and I can still do better than I am currently, because of the things that are in my life that I totally appreciate and love. My friends, my family, both of my jobs. And I don't want to let go of any of these things. So what I do is, every day I try to be as present as I can at whichever one of them I'm doing. And in any given day, I could be doing all of them. So when I'm doing one, I'm completely there.
Yeah.
And then, like, if I go home after this and I'm with my friends, even if they are on their phone, I try not to be.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I get home from any day of filming, my phone goes in my room for at least 2 hours. That's my new thing. Goes in my room, I close the door, and we're out in the public area, whether we're all outside cooking or
Right.
anything like that. And I just want in time for anyone that I'm spending time with, for them to know I am present with them. I'm appreciating the time they're giving me. And just like if I'm at work cooking, I'm trying to stay focused on what it is. I'm not worrying about what I have to do after work. I'm trying to be present with the job that I'm doing, which is cooking this food for those people to enjoy. And I'm going to get enjoyment from it because they're going to be appreciative of the food I just made for them.
Saying that, it's like one of the things that I can say that I'm on both sides of the fence, but one of the things, it's like, with all the information that we get, right? Like we get so much information and information consumes time, right? So we get on our phones alert that I-95 is shut down because of whatever. And at that split second, you begin to think about what's happening on I-95. You begin to, maybe you Google what happens. So it's like you just took 5 minutes of your time and you gave it to something that really has no beneficial to you whatsoever. And I think about that now too, where it's like how you say, putting your phone down, putting your phone away, being present. It's like, I miss those days. I miss those days. I miss those days of
going to your friend's house, knocking on the door and being like, hey, is Billy home? Can we play? It's weird, right? Yeah. That's not something people do anymore.
I love this photo on the internet where they had there's 10 bikes in front of a house. And they're like, we knew that's where everybody was. As kids, that's where everybody was hanging out, at that house, because that's where all the bikes were. They were thrown in the front yard. Good old days.
Yes. That's literally, I used to get on my BMX bike and just fuck off for an hour. And if I was gone, if it was during the time in which I was allowed to be out of the house, I think I would probably go knock on 4 or 5 different people's houses to see if they were allowed to go out. And if they weren't, I just kept riding my bike. I'd end up in a creek and go frogging, or I would be in a forest just throwing a stick, just weird shit that I don't think they do anymore.
Oh no.
The topic of time, which seems to be what we're doing right now, it's so interesting because I've come to realization lately that I feel very guilty at times when I don't use every hour that I've allocated to myself for productivity. And for me, I've said this a few times, I sleep 6 hours. That's 18 hours of productivity that I'm giving myself. I used to do 3 hours in the morning because I'd get up at 4:35 in the morning and I'd do 2-3 hours of sitting there having coffee with my dog and meditating. I wasn't meditating for full 3 hours. I was just sitting there having coffee.
Right.
And then it got to the point, I was like, dude, you could do so much more with at least 1 or 2 of those hours. And so I've gotten to the point where I'm trying to be as productive as I can with all my hours so I don't feel guilty that I've wasted any of that day that I've been lucky enough to have, because it's a gift to be part of the wake up club and to have a full day.
Wow, that's good.
God chooses to wake you up. You're part of the wake up club. And I love it because you now get another chance to do better than you did yesterday. So I've gotten to the point where I was all of a sudden starting to feel really guilty about the hours that I didn't do something that was going to further myself as an individual, further my company as a business, or further my career as a chef. And then someone kind of woke me up to this idea is, but you need the other times as well. And what they were getting at is, sometimes I just sit on the couch with my roommate. We don't talk because we have that level of friendship that we don't constantly have to be talking about stuff. But we might just throw a movie on and just sit there. We smoke a joint and just. And sometimes you need that as well. You need that time where you're not physically doing anything, your mind's not mentally doing anything, but you are with the individuals that you care about, or the barbecues that you have with your friends, that social interaction. We just had one the other day. We all take turns buying foods and charcoal and all that sort of stuff. And every now and again, a bit more of a planning is done to it. But Friday night, I was filming here but we had organized as a group to do a barbecue. And there was only 6 or 7 of us maybe. But as soon as I got home, everyone else was already there. And you know, we lit, the charcoal was lit, and I got the meat out of the fridge and cooked real quickly. And everyone was there, you know, talking, sharing stories. A couple of people showed up that we hadn't seen in a long time. And that's what I love about what we have. Right. People just show up. And I got to catch up with a couple of people I haven't seen, one of them in 3 months, another one I probably haven't seen in like a year, you know. And I realized that in itself is also furthering me as a person. So it's important to be productive with the time that you have, go after your dreams, make things become reality. Also appreciate the times in which you're not doing anything that's productive, because it's doing something for your soul.
Yeah.
And it's so important.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Man, you got some great friends, man. You talk about them all the time.
Listen, they're never gonna, like, when whoever pulls the plug on my life, things that people will not say is he didn't care for anybody. They can't say that. And they can't say he didn't express it. And that's a big pillar for me with the Lyfe Choyces is we have to stand here or sit here and discuss with people things and people and places that are important to us, because we're going to be gone one day and we're going to be forgotten one day.
Oh,
all the photos, even the digital shit about us, like even this podcast, which is going to be one of hundreds of millions of podcasts in 50 years from now. Like, think about where technology is going to go. Sure, there'll be a moment in time that Lyfe Choyces podcast is going to be a massive thing and my anonymity is going to be gone and we're going to have a great time with it. But one day, we're going to be nothing more than a picture or a video that's eventually not going to be looked at or watched anymore. So why not take the fucking time to call your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, and tell them you fucking care about them. Express to everyone the level of love you have for your friends.
Yeah.
You know?
You do that well.
I try my best because
it's like leaving your imprint, you know? It's like how you're saying, you know, one day, yes, that's what you're going to turn into, but creating that imprint, that memory, that piece that's going to stand forever. That, you know, that person, you know, they could be anywhere. And oh man, I remember that moment when you know what I mean? So making that impact, that imprint, I like that. I like the thought of how I'm envisioning that in my head, of that imprint on their heart.
I come and go often. As a private chef working on yachts, I constantly travel. I could be here for a month. I could be here for 3 months. I could be gone for 6 months. Every time I come back, I know exactly what I'm going to do as soon as I get back. The first thing is I'm going to go hang out with my boys, because that is where I get the most appreciation. That's where I give the most appreciation, because it's my foundation for family. I love my family, my blood. You know what I'm saying? Like I was over there for 30 years of my life, you know? We all grow up, we all move on, we all create our own lives, and we are tribal people. Human beings are tribal, and we want to go find our tribe. We want to find that group of people that we feel the most things in common. We don't all have to be the same,
right? But
we feel similar. And I was lucky enough 10 years ago, 12 years ago, to come into a group of men, which the group was already formed or forming. And it shifted over to where it is now, where we have a nucleus of men who do not shy away from expressing to each other. And not everyone does it verbally.
Correct.
You know, people do it differently. Some of these guys show up with help, rather than saying, dude, I love you. Right. I very open with that sort of shit, but they all do it in their own way.
Let me ask you this then. So you said that you came into this group, right? So group was established. How did you, should I switch seats with you? How did you, being who you were, what did you have to do to get in that group? What did you do to get this group of amazing friends that I can't wait to meet? Because just listening to you talk about them, I'm like, I want to meet him.
You're basically making me tear up right now. So I was at a point in my life where I was very unhappy. And so I would go drinking every single night. Now, I always went to work, always did my job, never stole, I just went and drank every night because I didn't want to deal with what was up here. And what happened is that the boat was docked at the bottom of the street of Clematis at Palm Harbor Marina. And I worked on this yacht, and I'd walk up the street every night to go to a bar, which eventually I became friends with the owner. And while I was going there at the very beginning stages, I would go by myself because that's never been a problem for me. I'd go to movies by myself, breakfast, dinner. I don't give a shit. And I would sit in this one spot, this one chair with the one TV. There was many TVs, but that was like the TV that I would sit at. And I'd be there every single night. And I would just be myself and just socialize with the bartenders. That's it. It became a regular, just every night, football season, every, Sunday, the team, boom. I worked for a family that owned a team. So I would watch that football game every Sunday. And I was just myself. I wouldn't even have to be in the bar. Like, I'd be leaving, getting into a taxi, and people would be walking up to the door to go upstairs, and I would see them, and I'd yell out to the bouncer, "Hey, they're with me." And then the bouncer would just let them up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the level of friendship that I had received from being myself. But what I did was, at the end of every season, I would go and I would get a gift for all of the bartenders, barbacks, and bouncers. And it wasn't like it was thoughtful. It was something, to say thank you, because throughout the season, I probably saved thousands of dollars on alcohol. You know what I'm saying? And it was so funny because it got to the point where they wouldn't even I would have to go behind the bar and take my cash and put it in the tip jar. That's the level of kind of respect that was happening. And because I was always brought up in a household that you always take care of those who take care of you. And that's what happened. So at the end of every season, maybe I'd give all the girls a gift card to somewhere. And then the guys, I would take them on a pub crawl, this is on me tonight, guys. And of course, everywhere we went, they knew the bartenders. So then the bill would be I'd be like, no, this is on me. This is on me. Charge me, you know what I'm saying? And it was just, they would always have events for everybody, like Thanksgiving for all the regulars. And, you just start showing up all the time and you just create these friendships. And then it just kept going outside of that establishment. And they all worked there, whether they built the place, owned the place, bartended there, bounced there, whatever it was. They were all early on in their lives as well. Because again, this is going back, well, now it's probably almost 14 years. And those relationships were just built and everyone just kind of came together to the point now where 4 of us live on the same property and everyone else that knows us just comes by when they feel like coming by. And I thank my lucky stars because these guys have helped me emotionally, mentally, financially. Right. It doesn't matter. You've got your core.
I think everybody needs a core.
Yeah. And we talk about it quite a lot on here. And I feel that men have an easier time doing it than women do from what's being expressed to me, that men have an easier time bonding and creating that level of friendship. But yeah,
I can't say that I've ever had what you just explained, but I think I've had some great friends, friends that, you grow up with, as we say, live in the neighborhood, but I don't think I've experienced a core crew of friends.
Never had it a single day in my life. Like I said, so put it to you this way. I never went to a school for more than 2 years my entire life. Okay. So I was always the new person.
Right.
So I never grew up with the people and had friendships. I would meet 1 or 2 people at a school, become friends, go to a new school, kind of lose contact with them because now you're at a new school. You don't hang out all that much. And that's kind of how my life went. So when I ended up coming in and out of this port here in South Florida, and I was fortunate enough to build those bonds with these guys. And of course, during that time, some people have fallen off and we all know a large group of people, but this close knit group of guys, and we're strong enough and know each other enough that we can respect one another, that when we're going through something, we may need to just back off of each other or just give each other space, or don't take it personally. It's just what it is, and give it a few days, a week, whatever. And if it's really serious, if something's really fucking tough, we fucking talk about it. You know, like if someone's being out of line or if someone's like really upset, we're either there for them or we're that kind of friend that like rips the Band-Aid off and say, listen, enough's enough, dude. Wake the fuck up. Or we're just like, absolutely, we got you. What do you want to do? Let's go. Whatever you need, let's go. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. I look at them as my 6 a.m. friends, not my 5 p.m. friends. 5 p.m. friends, they're awesome. They'll do things for you. They'll give you a pat on the back, during the day when you need it. But do you have those people you can call at 6 a.m. when they see your phone and they're like, are we burying someone? What's up? What do you need? Should I get the shovel? You know what I'm saying? Like those are the
dude. I'm gonna test it out.
Listen,
I'm texting some people. Listen, I'm texting some of you at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. I want to see if you answer.
You never know.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Listen, there are only a few people in your life that you could call at those wee hours of the morning that would get out of bed and come get you. Honestly, like I'm gonna do it to my boys one day, but it's like, listen, there's a situation. I need your help. We're gonna hurt some people. You can't ask me why. And we can't talk about it ever again afterwards.
I think I'm gonna have to hurt him myself. I don't believe I know for a
fact. I know for a fact, right off the top of my head, 4 of them would literally just go grab a gun and say, "Let's go."
Everybody's going to prison. 100%. Everybody's going
if we get caught.
And hold on. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so let's take this another step, right?
Yeah.
So you call them.
Yeah.
It's a real call.
Real situation.
Okay. Now, what happens when you get to the police station?
What do you mean?
Did he do it or did we do it?
No, that's no one did anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Lawyer.
Listen, I need to meet these guys even more now.
Lawyer. Yeah. Lawyer. That's it. That's all that needs to be said. Lawyer.
Dad, you taught him right.
Yeah.
You taught him right.
He did. I knew that shit a long time ago. Fuck that nonsense. Lawyer. And we know enough people that have cash that we can get bailed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's things that you got to realize when you're growing up. When you're growing up and becoming a man, there's certain things that you need to understand that are important. And when you can find people like that in your life, you have to show up for them.
Yeah.
Because if they're showing up for you,
you got to be there for them.
You got to fucking be there for them no matter what. That's just a fact.
So lawyer, huh?
Yeah, lawyer.
You got one on retainer?
I have about 5. Yeah, for different things, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's not like I have a criminal lawyer on retainer, but my lawyers know lawyers.
Right.
I got my lawyers from my dad, actually.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman that was articling under my father at his firm. And I didn't know this guy the whole time I was growing up. No, didn't even know who the fuck he was. Didn't even know he was a person. No idea. And on my dad's exit from this physical world, this particular lawyer was taking care of his estate. And he came over obviously to finalize everything. It was, we knew, this was going on. And this man expressed something to me that I had never known how great my father was. But he said, your father is the reason why I'm the lawyer that I am today and the man that I've become.
Wow.
And that's some heavy shit to be being said when like the dude's sitting at the table about to die. And he's like, anything you guys ever need in your life, you just call me. And if I can't help you, I'll send you in the right direction.
That's impact.
Yeah. Because my dad was on the straight and narrow and other people in the firm were not and went a different way to earn more money and lived whatever. And this particular gentleman was like, no, he kept me on the straight and narrow. I had options to go either way, but I went this way and I've lived a happier life because of it.
Wow.
And that was the lawyer I called when I started my company. I have a registered trademark for Lyfe Choyces, and I got it through a lawyer that he suggested to go to. My company's registered in Barbados, and I got that from another lawyer that he suggested to contact. So, like, he stood by his word. Absolutely.
You put it to the test, and he came through.
I mean, if someone's going to say they're going to do something for you, why not take that opportunity if you need it in life and in business?
Yeah.
Makes sense. And that's why I say to everybody out there, if anyone enjoys what they're hearing or seeing on this podcast, my email is there. All of my socials are there. I check all my DMs, all my emails every day, multiple times. if you need to talk to someone or you just need someone to listen, I'm fucking there for you.
That's good.
That's the whole point of what I'm trying to do. It's one of the pillars is to help others. And same thing I say to all of my guests that come here. Any time of day. If I'm sleeping, I'm not answering unless it says mom. But any time of day, you know what I'm saying? If it gets to a point that the friendship is built so high that you become one of those people, then fuck yeah, you call me at 6 a.m. and I'll fucking be there. That's just the way I am. I am only on this planet for a certain amount of time that I am unaware of. And if I can impact someone's life by just being there for them, why the fuck not?
Yeah, that's good, man. That's really good.
I just hope that what I say goes far enough to hit one person's life. That's it. You know,
my hand is raised,
that's
sir.
It. That's all I want.
My hand is raised. Yeah. I'm calling my mom. My hand is raised. I love it. My hand is raised, man.
So before we wrap it up today, real quick, how's your podcast going? How's
you know, it's going. It's interesting where my setup is a little bit different because it's mobile. You know, it's like move it here, move it there, right? So I get so inspired so quickly that it's like I got to capture it with my phone. Because it's set up in a way of I'm sending what I consider energy out. So I get the feeling of what is suppressing the world today. What's suppressing my friends today? What opiate are they taking today? You know, and it's like I give the antidote in 7 minutes or 8 minutes or 9 minutes of just positivity, of just reminding them who they are, reminding them that time, reminding them that hard work, reminding them not to give up. The idea originally is to find an amazing studio like this. But until that day comes, you know, it's every day. It's like just putting those little 5 minutes of 5-hour energy out there. There you go. 5-hour energy if you want to sponsor Lyfe Choyces. But that's what I am. You know, I would love to get to the point where we're sitting down, we're talking, we're having some guests, as I have a vision for that. But right now it's really just trying to give people that little bit of breath that says, I can make it till tomorrow.
You're doing good today. Here's a little upper for you through a verbal mentalist.
That's it, man.
That's it. Yeah. Well, it's important. It's listen, that gets eaten up a lot because people nowadays, they don't always sit down for a full hour to watch or listen to something. You have a personality that you're ready for it anyways because you're comfortable with who you are.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's why we get along and why we have good conversations, because we're at a similar stage in our separate journeys of being so okay with being us.
That's it.
And that's the biggest message you can have right now in today's upside down world.
Right.
Be okay with being you.
And I think, you know, and to reiterate, it's the consistency. I think when people see that you're serious, then they take it serious. So if you're going to be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're just like, I'm going to skip Thursday, I'll skip Friday because I want to go out and have a good time. No, like you give them a great message. Lyfe Choyces, like they can't wait till the next episode because they know that episode before it was so good, and I can't wait till who he's going to have on the next season. I can't wait to what topics he's going to bring up. I can't wait to be on the show. So I believe it's just so much wrapped in one. But again, consistency is what people are looking for. They're looking for, all right, is it going to be here next year? I don't want to get all wrapped up in this and get excited. And then you tell me, well, ladies and gentlemen, today's our last show. You know, no.
I've said it from the beginning. It doesn't matter to me what happens. This is going to be done forever.
That's it.
It does not matter to me. I'm not in this for the money. I want to pay my bills. I have a job.
Yeah.
I would love this to be the full-time job so I don't have to do that as much and I can just do this and give even more content. I would love that.
Yeah.
But no matter what happens, I get enjoyment out of doing this. So as long as there's people willing to come by and sit in that chair and have a real conversation with a real person, I'm going to fucking do it. Human connection is too important to me not to do it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, Orlin, wrapping up time, buddy.
Oh,
yeah, already. Time flies when you're having fun and you get deep into conversation here on the podcast. So
absolutely.
Thank you once again. You turned the tables on me today.
I did.
It seemed to be a little vice versa there, which is fine. Some people have been hitting me up saying like, dude, when are we going to find out more about you? So thank you on that. I appreciate you so much. You're going to come back time and time again.
Absolutely.
My mom loved our episode the first time we did this. So I can't wait to see what she says next time.
Absolutely.
So all of the information to get hold of you or even possibly try to join Good Morning Beautiful is all down below in the description.
Down below, baby. You see it.
Any social media for people to contact you is down below as well. I want to thank all my lifers out there that keep coming back each and every week to watch us here on the podcast. And for all our new joiners, we'll see you next week, Tuesday at 2 p.m. here on the Lyfe Choyces podcast. Much love, everybody.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you are now about
The Journey, Lyfe Choyces podcast.